Hello there, Aaron. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Eduardo. Frank, how are you?
It
Uh,
must be Halloween.
it's been a day, I'll tell you that much.
What? Just out of just this is fantastic. I got to tell you, we're going nuts over here, and you know what? Why don't I do something? Why don't I introduce the show?
I think that's a good start.
Hey, just so you know, folks, I'm
Uh,
Frank Stanisci of Candid Frank Live, where you'll find
uh,
us airing our views here on the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Candid Frank Live, joining me again is Aaron William Freeland. Yeah, it's been a little crazy around here. We've had an interesting couple of days. We moved to Wasaga, Simcoe here to north of Toronto, an hour and 45 minutes north of Toronto, for the peace and quiet and tranquility of small town Canada. So we get robbed twice in 2 days. We have the police, 6 cop cars pull over in front of the house, take a guy down right in my driveway. If I wanted to leave, I couldn't leave because the commotion was going on in the
uh,
driveway. Some guy stole a car, didn't want to get out of the car. They dragged him out of the car. He started to run away. They tackled him. They took off his shoes so he wouldn't run anymore. And then they put him in the back of the cop car. And wait a second. And then he starts to yell, "Give me my shoes back," and he's kicking the back window of the cop car. Now, he didn't break the window.
yeah.
I don't know if he broke his feet or ankles or anything or toes, but and so it's been a very quiet week here in Wasaga Beach.
Small town Ontario ain't nothing quite like it.
Wow. I said, boy, I in all the years I lived in Toronto, and those are a lot of years, I had nothing like this happen. Nobody stole stuff off of our lawn. No cops stopped in front of our house to have a 6 car. Oh my gosh, it was just crazy. Now I'll call it, because I don't want to give people the wrong idea about Wasaga Beach. It's a wonderful town. But, as luck has it, police exist for a reason, because there are criminals. They do exist, and they exist everywhere. But, like the lottery, apparently this week we won the lottery 3 times in a row, or lightning struck the same place 3 times. How was your week?
You got dinner and a show from your
And the
living room,
show.
Frank. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
we sure did. How was your week?
My week was relatively decent, quiet, a few things going on here and there, but other than that, nothing out of the ordinary quite like that.
Yeah, so we got dressed up for Halloween. We went to Boston Pizza. Did I say Boston Pizza? Oh yeah, the owner of Boston Pizza asked to be friends, so he might be watching. So we have to mention Boston Pizza a couple of times. Did I mention Boston Pizza
I think
here
I
in
might have said
Wasaga?
Boston pizza, yeah.
Did I mention Boston Pizza?
Hmm.
You ever been to Boston Pizza?
A few times.
You like Boston Pizza?
Boston pizza is decent pizza for the pizza that it's supposed to Boston be.
Okay, it's better than that. He's only a guest host. Don't listen to him. No, just kidding. We went there. We had a great time, Wasaga Beach is a small town, and when we talk about a small town, so the same people that like to party pretty much party in every place. So you get to know all the people who like to have a good time, who like to smile, dance, and listen to wild music. So you get to know them right away, and you get to know the few places that are there that you can do that. So yeah, Boston Pizza is one of them. So and anyway, so in fact, the mayor that won, Brian Smith, he had
Mhm.
his party at Boston Pizza.
Oh, excellent.
So I figure we should get a pizza between the two of us, right? For the amount of times we mentioned about. Okay, now all kidding aside, yeah. So we had the election here that happened. So the municipal elections took place. I don't think we talked about them to any level. What would you say the highlights were of? One is one of the candidates, actually an incumbent, passed away. Lay passed away,
Mhm.
counselor, just before the election. Um, and then there are, I guess, the important, I guess, salient things are the big towns. The mayor's repeated. The one in I know for in Toronto and in Mississauga, where I used to live, where you live.
Yeah, no, it's there weren't, I don't think, a lot of surprises when it came to this election. Uh, everything went smoothly, and there were uh, no recounts required, nothing like that. The people who were supposed to win for the most part won. I heard Mamalidi was running up in your neighborhood. Is that correct?
Yeah, he came in a strong fourth, no, strong third.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, my brother also ran out here in Mississauga in his ward as for council and school trustee and finished fourth with 580 votes. So he was
That's
happy.
good. He
Yeah.
probably that probably reflects how many friends he has, which is about 580 more than I have. So I'm proud of him.
But yeah, so Brian Smith got in again. He was mayor there from 2014 to 18, correct?
Yeah, he was the previous mayor before Nina Bafolci. Yeah, she's happy to not be mayor because now she doesn't have to deal with the undermining, the nastiness, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy for her that she's put that behind her and that stuff's gone. Nobody likes that kind of stuff. I'm just glad that it's over, and now hopefully, we can get down to business as far as the municipal politics is concerned. Get down to doing some stuff. We're just getting over the pandemic. For everybody who in Canada who went through an election, congratulations to the winners. I want to say thank you to the people who didn't win, and whether they were incumbents or not, thank you for your service. The ones that will be taking on the service if for the first time, thank you. Hope it's everything you wished for. And for those of you that got out, hope it's everything you're happy. I hope it works out for you. And the people who tried to get elected and did not, thanks for putting your hat in the ring. That's really important for our system to work, Aaron. People need to know that if they feel they need to run, they can run and not have any kind of encumbrance that handicaps anyone that wants to run. If you understand what I'm saying, you can all read between the lines of what I'm saying, however you wish. But the point is, everyone should be able to run who feels they can, and they should all be given an equal chance to succeed
Indeed.
and get your message out there, whatever it happens to be. Hopefully it's something that can be taken seriously. That's what we hope for, and hopefully the other thing that Aaron and I learned, Aaron, speak to the appropriateness of some candidates who are running based on things that have nothing to do with municipal elections. I assume they didn't win.
No, all those individuals who I mentioned in our previous shows who had platforms that didn't seem to be well aligned to local politics found themselves on the wrong end of it. So,
So we're safe from them. Okay, let's go to the sports, our favorite thing. And our favorite subject in sports is the Canadian Football League. The season ended. Um, the Argos lose in a game that didn't matter.
it wasn't particularly important, I don't say, but at the same time gave us a potential indications of possible problems down the road, in particular with a weak first quarter. Didn't look like they started on time. So, it's one of those yikes kind of moments. You got to sit back and think on that. I mean, they returned it. They returned it for a touchdown in the first series. So, that I think tells you something about the way the Argonauts started the game.
Their defense didn't only bend, it broke and it smithered into smithereens in the first quarter. The first three possessions by Montreal were touchdowns.
It's one of those. I was just sitting there in the stands, just staring at it, going, "This ain't right." But at the same time, it's not the playoffs yet, so at least there's some small comfort in that. Speaking of, the Argonauts' next game is going to be the 13th, I believe,
Yep.
Frank,
Week after
at 1
next.
p.m. Yeah,
That'll be the Eastern Final, and the
yeah.
Eastern Final candidate will be elected with a victory. This, keeping the political term alive, will be elected this weekend, and that'll be Hamilton and Ottawa. Hamilton has been in a bit of a run. Confidence is really high. You and I both have a lot of Cat fans. Um, they were their own worst enemy. They didn't think they had a chance, and I love the fact that I told them before they believed in their team that they should believe in their team, which I find ironic, but appropriate considering I thought of it only from a sportscaster's perspective. There was no fandom involved. It was the reality of numbers, and they should have known they had a chance to get in, but their faith in the team um, really did decelerate. They were on auto whimper, and and guess what? They're back to life again. They're going to be playing Montreal. Their hopes now. They're thinking, oh, we can beat Montreal, which they probably can. But I think it's fair to say that Montreal could beat them too.
Honestly, this is one of those games that could go either way. With Montreal finishing 9-9 and Hamilton finishing 8-10, it really is a toss-up at this point.
Absolutely, it truly is. The Stamps and the Riders played. The Riders rode into the sunset. It was their last game of the year. They already knew before they started that game that they weren't going to be in the playoffs. And the Calgary Stampeders tried some stuff in preparation for the playoffs. Just the teams that are in and have nothing to lose, make sure, or at least try, not to have key injuries to their squad, and that's what they try to avoid in situations like this, which is injuries. So the Stamps beat the Riders
handily. I mean, they were up 23-3 at the half. I think that was, a pretty good indicator of how this game was going to go. But it was over, and it was over early. The good news is, again, Calgary got to play most of their secondary players, managed to come out of it without injuries, so that's important as well. So going into the playoffs, they're facing off against BC again. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, this is one of those games where everything was already decided. The West was particularly strong this year.
Absolutely.
With Winnipeg at 15-3 and BC and Calgary both sharing identical 12-6 records. There's not a lot to pick from there, right? So
Big Blue rolled over the Orange Purr, proving that the Bombers are the team to beat. And unfortunately, the Lions came up short. But this game really didn't matter as much as if they meet again in a couple of weeks.
And it was important, I think, in this game for BC that Nathan Rourke got back in. He's been out since mid-August, but he went for 7 of 11 for 68 yards before they pulled him in favor of Vernon Adams to take the game the rest of the way. I was just glad to see him get reps again.
So. We got in that playoff game in the West, we've got BC and Calgary. I think BC's going to have a hard time beating Calgary. I can see Calgary coming out of that, and I really do think Montreal has the edge in the game in the East. So that gives you an indication of where I think the East and West finals will be. They'll be in Toronto against Montreal, and they'll be in Winnipeg against Calgary. And I won't go a step further until next week, till we decide whether I had any brains in my head or not. I know there'll be a few Hamilton fans who would like to separate the brains from my head because of what I just said. But, I mean euphemistically. I don't mean really seriously.
No, not
Cat fans. Cat fans aren't the angry type.
No, not at all. Not in the slightest.
No, not at all. Exactly. Let's talk about Formula One. I know you love Formula One.
Yeah, so Max Verstappen broke the record for most wins in the season. He got his 14th in Mexico City. This is the second year in a row that he's won there, so that's absolutely fantastic. There are still 2 races left in the season, so he could further build on his lead. And again, the real story is, like, Verstappen finished at least 20 seconds in front of everybody else. You're not looking at him when you're watching the race. You're always looking at the back markers. And with McLaren and Alfa Romeo and Alpine all fighting in the mix for 4, 5, and 6 in the constructor standings, it makes everything a little bit more interesting in the mid-pack. So a couple races left. We'll see how that goes.
There have been issues with the World Cup. The host has not been exactly a workers' union example of the way to treat workers. Not quite, Aaron.
No, this is very true. And, Soccer Canada has decided to weigh in on the proceedings as well, saying they support the ongoing pursuit of further progress regarding workers' rights and inclusivity as Qatar prepares to host the World. There is I guess, a little bit of irony in this, in that Canada almost lost 2 games leading up to the World Cup because of their refusal to pay players. Add into that the fact that players were
What
asked
they
to give
wanted.
back their warm-up kit, while at the same time Soccer Canada executives were treated to bespoke suits. Also indicates that, maybe not.
I guess you could say they were tragically hip.
Ouch.
There you go. Okay, let's go to hockey, and we're talking full face shields.
Yeah, this is something that could be coming in the near future. According to Hockey Canada, full face shields could become mandatory for junior A players. This would affect players in the CGHL, which includes leagues like the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League and the Alberta Junior League. Kevin Kaminsky of the SJHL's L'Orange Ice Wolf says he doesn't understand the moves to a full face mask as opposed to just halves, but at the same time, it's really in the player's best interest. You want to come into the NHL with a full smile as opposed to not. Part of the reason why there's opposition to this is because fans apparently still love a good tilt in the SJHL, and putting on full face shields would cut down on actual fighting. So there's that to consider as well.
Let's also remind folks that not every junior player has a career in hockey, and many of them live ordinary lives outside of hockey, and their health is really important. And to be healthy and to begin their life away from hockey, as far as separating from the full time to enjoying work. So their health is really important. So I don't think this is a bad move. It's the way it is. I'm sure there's going to be some pushback from the higher end junior league. Um, I think because of the deep connection to the National Hockey League, and you know how hockey itself is, from floor to ceiling, they try unifying rules, having the same rules across the board, and with the junior hockey being as close as they are to the National Hockey League, I could see a little pushback. I don't know how, to what extent, but I suggest there could be some.
Well, the concern there is that players will start to take more liberties because of the full face masks and because of the visors. Because really, if you're wearing a full helmet, who's going to drop their gloves and risk wrecking their hands on a cage?
Well,
So,
absolutely, and there's some truth to the fact that there are people who are brave who don't have to stand up and defend their behavior. That's a given. Let's go to the Montreal Canadiens, and Dvorak scores a hat trick.
so this was nice. Dvorak finally has his first hat trick as the Habs beat the Blues 7-4. Sorry, Christian Dvorak. Um, he the Habs scored 3 times in about 4 minutes and 50 seconds in the second period there to put the Blues down 7-4.
The Ottawa Senators have been playing well, but unfortunately against the Panthers, they lost late.
Yeah, this was just a late collapse that was a bit of a pain. Carter Verhaeghe came through with 2 goals and an assist for the Panthers. Barkov and Kachuk each had a goal and 2 assists, and Montour also had 2 assists. This was actually the first time that there were Kachucks playing each other because one plays for Florida and one plays for Ottawa.
And let's talk about the Maple Leafs, where there's always a parade. We just don't know which, championship or funeral.
Yeah, well, after they dropped the first game to the Kings 4-2, they went into the second half of the back-to-back to play the worst team in the NHL, the Anaheim Ducks, and managed to lose that 4-3 in overtime. It was great for the Ducks, though, because it helped end their 7-game slide. The Maple Leafs are still apparently good for what ails you if you're a bottom feeder.
Oh boy, that's like the
Yeah.
good old days, huh?
Mm,
And when we say good old days, we mean it sarcastically for Leaf fans.
yes.
Those bad old days. The Ducks beat them as well.
Yeah. So losing in overtime the way that they did. I mean, they did manage to blow a 2-goal lead again. So again, that plays into that whole the 2-goal lead is the worst lead to have in hockey mantra that I live and die by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The The Vegas Golden Knights would like to be in the Canadian division. They're having a lot of luck. Jack Eichel, overtime victory over Winnipeg.
Yeah, so that was really nice. Eichel scored with 7 seconds left in overtime on a wraparound to beat the Jets 2-1. That means that Vegas now goes to 8-2-0. So that's pretty decent for them.
Flames and Oilers. Who got burned in this one?
Unfortunately, the Flames got burned by the Oilers at home. It was one of those things where Zach Hyman got 2, including the game winner, and Connor McDavid had a goal and 2 assists, as Edmonton scored twice in the third to pull it a 3-2 win. So, it was interesting hockey to watch. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't fun to see Calgary get burned, but them's the breaks.
The Knuckleheads are on a roll.
Yeah, they won twice. Second time
in a row.
Back to back. Yeah, Kraken followed by beating the Penguins. I don't know what's happening, but something definitely has. So I'm glad to see that they're turning that around.
Okay, we don't have much time left. Pick your news story.
Oh goodness. Let's go with Twitter. If you want to be a verified user. I'm not touching anything else at all.
$33 billion he lost, Aaron. In a matter of a day, he lost $33 billion.
He also fired the entire executive board and has declared himself the sole director. Not to mention wanting to institute a $20 per month fee for those individuals who want a blue check mark beside their name. So,
and his first post while he's the owner, a lie.
Yep. Congratulations to Elon Musk on blowing a wad of cash.
I guess we're not going for him as a sponsor like Boston Pizza.
No, I definitely don't think we should, because you know what? His stuff isn't nearly as tasty as Boston Pizza's.
No kidding. I don't feel like eating an electric car. Might not go down good. Aaron, this was awesome. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, he's Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live, Aaron, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Ciao for now.